Hello and welcome to the Kayden Show, today's best country mix. And joining me right here today is Sylvia. Hey Sylvia, how are you today?
Hey, Kayden, I'm doing great. It is 79 degrees here in Nashville today. I can't believe it.
Really?
Yes, it's hot here.
Well, isn't that nice? I am ready for that summer weather. I'm here in Massachusetts and
Mhm.
it's right now it's 34 degrees, so I'm ready for
Oh,
the summer. Yeah.
yeah. Well, this is unusual. We haven't had a day this warm since last summer, I guess, or last fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that spring 79. Yeah, I could do a 79. That's not bad.
Mhm.
So there you go. There you go. So kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been recording professionally since 1979. I started recording for RCA Records. I grew up in Indiana, Kokomo, Indiana, is where I'm a Midwesterner, but I'm also a Southerner because my dad is from Tennessee, and I spent a lot of time in the South as a kid growing up. So,
Mhm.
kind of a hybrid. I love to sing. I recorded for RCA during the 1980s. Then I took a little break and started recording on my own record label in the mid 1990s and have been doing that ever since. And I have a brand new record out that I hope we're going to talk about today. It's called Nature Child, A Dreamer's Journey. But I've put out several albums over the last, since 1996 on Red Pony Records. And people can find out more about that on my website, sylviamusic.com.
Awesome. So kind of tell us a little bit about that single.
About you mean the new album?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. The new album is called Nature Child, A Dreamer's Journey. And this album has been in the works for 32 years, probably longer than you've been here on Earth. The idea for this album actually started when I took a break from working the road in the 1980s. For some people that might be listening, I'll jog your memory a little bit. I had some hit songs in the country music field and had a song that crossed over into the pop charts called Nobody in 1982. And so that's kind of a little bit of background. So I've continued to record all through these years. But Nature Child was inspired by all those concerts I did back in the 80s when Nobody, especially when that song Nobody hit really big. You're Nobody Called Today. You know, she hung up when I asked her name.
Hmm.
Little kids love that record. And in fact, they bought about 2 million 45s of it. so uh, at my concerts, there were just tons of little kids that would come. And I thought, oh gosh, I wish I had music to sing to them that had messages of things I'd really want to say to a child.
Hmm.
And that was that's my dog Kate. um, and so I had the idea to begin writing this project, which I started doing at the end of the 1980s with my friend Verlin Thompson. And people may be familiar with Verlin, who toured with Guy Clark for over 20 years. And so, but Verlin's written many hit songs, and everybody in the industry knows Verlin. So anyway, half of the record was written way back then, and then in 2019, I began in earnest to say, okay, it's time to do this record, and
Hmm.
so Nature Child was born, and several songs were written during the process of the recording of the record. But the six that Verlin and I wrote at the beginning are all on here, and I'm really, really happy to have a record that ends up not being just for kids. It's really
Hmm.
for the child inside of all of us, the child that's playful, that is creative, and dwells in our imagination. I think in school
Hmm.
when we're kids, we get in trouble for using our imagination sometimes if we're instead of doing our lesson we're looking out the window and daydreaming uh, but this record really encourages us all, not just children, but all of us, to continue to use our imaginations and create a life that we want to live.
Hmm. That is very true. I really do like that message behind it
Mhm.
because when I heard about it, Nature's Child, I'm like, I gotta ask her specifically what was the idea on how the song was brought together.
Mhm. Well, the song Nature Child, which I decided, after the whole record was completed,
Hmm.
there's 12 songs on the record. After the whole record was completed, I looked at all the songs and really studied the lyrics to say what song is there, a song or a line in a song that really captures kind of the essence of the whole album, because I was
Mhm,
beginning to feel that this really is a concept album. It's not just a
mhm,
collection of 12 songs. There's a definitely a theme and actually an order to all the songs. So as I pondered that, I realized that Nature Child in so many ways is kind of the centerpiece of the record, because in this journey of following our dreams in life, we're also finding out more and more along the way who we are at the essence of our being. Who we are as a person beyond what we do. Yeah, we get identified by the roles that we play in life. We kind of become, I for years I thought I am a singer. I am a singer. That was my identity. And, I think through the years, I've realized that I do sing and I say I'm a singer, but in my heart of hearts, I know that's not all that I am. And I'm more than that. And I would hope that people that listen to this record will go on a journey into their imaginations, and maybe be inspired to pursue their dreams. That's
mhm,
that's even at this time in my life, I'm pursuing my dreams. I think sometimes we're taught that dreaming is for younger people, for kids in their in their early years and in their 20s, and then after that you just got to go hard work, roll your sleeves up, and
mhm,
work hard.
mhm,
And not that you don't do that, but I don't think we ever have to abandon that inner child that wants to play and create.
mhm. So, do you have any advice to people that might want to go into any career or just singing or anything like that? Do you have any advice for them?
I work as a life and career coach. And one of the things that I
Oh,
don't do as a life and career coach, and well, I call myself a personal and professional development coach too, because it kind of describes it maybe a
mhm,
little bit more in detail what I do. But I've learned that giving advice is often not helpful to people. What I've learned is
interesting.
to be curious. It's like when somebody says, "Well, tell me what you think I ought to do." I like to turn it around and say, "Well, tell me what your hunch is. I bet you have kind of a instinct about what wants to happen." Because when we give people advice, sometimes they begin to lean on us for advice, and they're looking out there for the answers instead of looking in here inside of ourselves. And that's what I would hope that this record will inspire people to do, is to look inside, look to your own dreams. Yeah, we can talk to people and get help along the way about the semantics of how to do something. But when we're looking into our heart of hearts, I don't think often we don't need advice. We just need stillness,
Mhm,
quiet, and kind of trust in our own inner guidance. I believe we have an inner guidance system. I trust mine, and when I don't trust it, I get in trouble. So I've learned, to listen to that voice inside that kind of says, no, yeah, oh, okay, So we get these little hits, and I think it does us all good to listen to that inner voice that can guide us along if we trust it.
mhm, mhm. So, if you could go open a show for any artist, who would you choose and why?
Oh wow. That's a great question. Who would I go and open a show for? Um, there's so many artists that I love. I love Enya. I love Cam. I love Carly Pierce. She's one of
Mhm,
the new singers out there today. I'm not sure that I'm of the ilk that would be able to open for any of those folks, but I don't know. I bet there's someone in the children's entertainment world that would be a good match for me. But I'm right now kind of looking into that world to see if there are people that tour that, because I want to take this out and sing this music for families and children and grandparents with grandchildren, and I'm seeing kind of a more intimate setting, and also it's very orchestrated. My friend John
mhm,
Mock, that I co-produced my records with, he's a composer and write and he wrote the music to 5 of the songs on the record. And he's also a multiple he plays multiple instruments. He
mhm,
played, mandolin and guitar and all kinds of instruments on this record. um, he and I do a lot of shows by ourselves, but I can imagine doing this music with an orchestra. That would be that would be really cool.
Yeah. What would also be really cool too if like I know like a lot of musicians like to go to like hospitals and try to entertain kids that way, you know. I don't know if you've ever considered that, but that when you were talking about that, that actually kind of popped up in my head. So I thought that
Mhm.
that would be really cool for you as well.
Yes, I think it would. Back in the '80s, I would sometimes go, and if I was in a town and
Mhm.
would get an invitation to go to a children's hospital and sing,
Mhm.
and I always loved doing that because it was just
Mhm.
such a gift to be able to
Mhm.
connect with people because I think this music has a healing aspect to it, and it's really interesting. You should bring that up because I've thought about St. Jude's or
Mhm.
Shriners Hospitals for Children. Some of these places where I think this
Mhm.
music could be instrumental in helping
Mhm.
calm and create harmony, which is really what we need when we're trying to heal.
Mhm. I agree with you.
Mhm.
So, where can people find you on social media?
Well, I'm on Facebook. You can find me. It's if you put it all together, no spaces. Sylvia Country Music. You'll take you right to my band page, Sylvia. On Instagram and on Twitter, I'm at SY Hutton. Hutton's my last name. SY Hutton at either one of those, and you can find me there. But I have a website, Sylvia, Sylvia, music.com, and you can find out all about me there, tour information. Um, you can hear clips from this record and other records I've made in the last few years. And so that's where people can find me.
Awesome. And Sylvia, is there anything else that I forgot that you'd like to share with us today before we hop off?
Well, I don't think you've forgotten anything. I think I just want to say to the people listening out there that I hope you will listen to this record because whether you buy it or whether you stream it, it's available on all the streaming platforms like Spotify and Tidal and Deezer and
Mhm.
all of those. It's on all the major platforms. So, go give it a listen. And really, that's a way to support independent artists like myself. People like myself, we don't have the big machine of a big record label behind us. So, if you can go out there and stream our records, buy our CDs, all those ways of supporting independent artists to keep making the music, that would be great.
Yes, I definitely encourage all my listeners to go check out Sylvia's newest album that just came out that she's been working on for quite some time now.
Hmm.
Well, I would like to thank Sylvia so much for taking time out of her day to come on the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. We so much appreciate it. So much, Sylvia.
Thank you. Bye bye.